Okay, here we go again. I'm Jay Hart. Welcome back to my channel. This is episode 7 of my 1932 Ford Roadster project. And I'm building a boat tail roadster. I'm using this 1940 Ford hood for the top section of the boat tail in the rear. And, you know, I've been opening each episode trying to catch people up to speed on what we did in the previous episodes. But I think we've reached a place in this series at episode 7 where we just can't do this anymore. We got to look forward, not backwards. But I want to encourage you to go back and watch some of the earlier episodes because I think we're building a very unique car. We've done some pretty interesting stuff to this car. You know, there's a lot of 1932 Fords in the world. It's a very, very popular hot rod, of course. But I wanted to do something different and sort of make it my own. So I encourage you to go back and watch those other episodes. And if you enjoy it, like it, share it, and subscribe to this channel because it's a lot of fun to interact with people and have these comments coming from all over the world and just chatting with people about this car. It's a blast, and it kind of keeps me going here, keeps me moving. I've got a day job. I'm in the antique motorcycle world. This is for fun, and I'm having a blast doing it. Last week, we were down in Georgia. I went down and saw Greg Haynes at Ants and Axle. He got my axle bent up, got my spindles all set in place for me. We're ready to go there, but we're missing a few pieces. I need some parts to get moving on the front end. So we're not going to go back to the front end just yet, but we do have, I mean, it's a custom car. So with custom cars, my buddy used to say, yeah, custom all the way. So, you know, you're always having to change something. So when you start doing things like what we've done, we've narrowed this car by 4 inches. We've sectioned it, you know, vertically by 2 inches and horizontally by 4 inches. Did I say that right? Wrong way. Horizontally by 2 inches, vertically by 4 inches. We narrowed the whole firewall and the cowl by 4 inches. So we're tighter inside the car now. So I had this beautiful 1940 steering wheel my buddy Donnie gave me, and my buddy John Hill refinished it for me. And I was like, you know, I really want to run this steering wheel, but I've narrowed the car by 4 inches. And if you know anything about a 32 Ford, there's not a lot of room over here between the door and the steering wheel. So when you normally have a few inches over here, now we're looking at like 1.5 inches, and we're looking at kind of a knuckle buster situation here. So unfortunately, this beautiful wheel is going to have to go to the next project, and there will be a next project. I've already got some ideas I'll share with you later. But so in the meantime, I picked up this wheel here. I thought, you know, maybe we could do something a little different. I've got this 37 wheel. I believe it's a 37. If not, correct me in the comments here. It's got these little lines in here. I don't know if you can see them, but I believe that would say it's a 37. You tell me. I'm not a car guy. I'm a motorcycle guy. But found this wheel, and it's in need of some help. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to drop this diameter down of 17 inches down to 16 inches and save ourselves just a little bit of room up next to the door. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can see I've got a much more compact version of a 32 Ford cowl and firewall here. I've sectioned it by 2 inches this way and 4 inches this way. Here, this stock dash can show you what we're dealing with here. That's how much we've taken out of this thing. So, and I did this because, you know, and of course I'll have to section the dash. But I did this because I want this body flowing with the frame down the side of the frame. I wanted it up on top of that frame rail, and I just want it to be narrow and more streamlined, like an Indy Roadster or a Lakester or Speedster, or whatever you want to call it. It's just something more aerodynamic. And I wanted to maintain a lot of the stock 32 features on this thing. You know, that's why I sectioned it outside of the cowl vent here. I wanted to make sure the cowl vent was in the stock location. I didn't want to interrupt any of the lines in the firewall, so I zigzagged with my sectioning to try to get this where it's all lined up. I don't want it to be blatantly obvious. I want people to look at it and say, now that's got all the stock 32 features, but there's something different there. You know, I like that sort of thing in customizing. You know, the car will obviously be highly customized and modified, but I want them to see some of those stock 32 features and have to kind of stare at it for a little while. But in doing this, you know, this poses a problem because in narrowing this by 4 inches, that brings the inner door panel towards my steering wheel about 2 more inches. And so we end up with a knuckle buster sort of situation over here. and it would probably fit okay. But I think the right thing to do is to save this beautiful 40 wheel for a future project and take this 37 wheel and modify it, drop it down to a 16-inch diameter, and give myself a little bit more room over here by the door. And I had a plan to do that, so I ran over to my buddy Ethan's shop. He's got a roll bender over there, and so I ran over there and I bent up a ring, and I'll show you what I did over there. So if you're not familiar with the machine I'm using here in the video, it's called a roll bender. It's a series of 3 triangulated round dies, radius cut for the tubing size, with one die pressing between the other 2. And that causes the tube to roll into an arch. And yep, you're getting ready to find out that it can actually roll a stick of tubing into a complete circle if you needed to do such a thing. Manufacturers make several different styles of these machines. Some are electronic, others are manual. This one's manual, obviously. Some are driven by a single wheel. Some of them are driven by all the wheels, all 3. But a guy or girl of remedial talent could easily build one of these things at home if they really needed to. The manual machine I'm using here belongs to my buddy Ethan over at Porterbuilt. It's working out just fine for the job we're doing today. You can find this machine online for a couple $100 just about anywhere. My racing buddy Andrew Prather, now he has the same machine, but his is set up with an electric drive bottle jack kit. It's available online at Swag Off-Road. I'm not all that familiar with Swag, but I saw that's where he got his, and I think it's a pretty cool setup. Now, in the past years, I was lucky enough to own a really nice Bailey Industrial roll bender. I have no sponsorship with Bailey today, but they were really good to me when I needed them most, when I had a lot of higher production going on in my shop, and I'll always appreciate that. I had a lot of help from people when I was building motorcycles on TV. A lot of people believed in me when I really wasn't sure that I even believed in myself, and I'll never ever forget it. And that was an excellent machine. Bailey makes really, really great stuff. Now we're getting this thing close to where we need it to be. I need to cut the straight ends off to make it a little more manageable in the roller. We have to get the ring to overlap so we have a perfect circle, and that means the end of the tubing is going to be offset, so we'll need to press it back into a flat plane. But first I have to locate the power switch for this horizontal bandsaw. Maybe my eyes are getting old, maybe they're just going bad. Either way, I'm glad nobody was around to watch me make a fool of myself. Where's the switch? It's got to come from the motor. Where the heck is the switch? Am I blind? Is that it? I'll be damned. Right there. It's nice of this guy to show up. I try not to do anything over here myself. I try to make him do it all. He used to have a shop across the driveway from me. I didn't even have to weld anything. I would just make him come over and weld all my stuff. That's where he got all big time. He got all big time on me. Now he won't weld his stuff anymore. salt flats. Oh, we're pretty close. We're about 16 and a half here. I think I better pull this out and look at it. See where the overlap is. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Smaller. We're really at about 15 and a half. We ought to be able to pull that coil out just a little bit. Zip this, zip that. I think that'll open up a little bit. I think we can do that. I think we can spread that.
Might be able to pinch the device here.
Well, two big tubes right now, we can pull that way.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather keep it under 16 to cut it. Then when we spread it, we'll be able to open it out naturally. Yeah. I'll get it lined up on the table and then try to cut through it. I bet I get a little welding out of here before I leave. What are we looking at? 16! 16, pretty good. That's where we want to be. Down inside this a little bit. Yeah, we'll be able to press that. Ethan's been a big help to me in my life. Met this dude, he was a kid, overwhelmed with work. You can see, you can see around his shop, he learned his lesson about being overwhelmed with work. Yeah, buddy, you got a block? Spacer block? I'll straighten this out. Man, this is nice. That's nice. Huh? Came from Allison's?
Yeah.
Transmission? Here. You want to operate this and I'll work with it? Oh, I gotta move the block over more. Let's go back and press through it.
It's 3.5.
That's amazing. Let's try it again. That lock in there.
Let's just put it in the vise and I'll tag it.
There we go. Yeah, I love this iron head. Yeah, boy. All right, well then. Now we've done that. Sort of thing. Funny handlebars. What do you think that is?
Oh, that's about 35,000.
We're pretty good. Here's what Henry and Edsel gave us. I'd say we're pretty good. I'm rolling with it. And that's where we're going to be on this guy. And whereabouts are we? Dead on 16. crosswise, 16.
Yeah.
16.
So it'll come out in the wash when you put the epoxy on.
It's looking good. Let's throw it up in the lathe.
I need a bigger lathe. Hey, take that, get you a stick and roll it out in your driveway.
All right, let's clean up Ethan's shop. Okay, so we got our nice flat 16-inch ring here. I'm super happy with this, by the way. The circumference, the symmetry here, it's really perfect. Nailed it right at 16 inches. Exactly what I wanted. Wouldn't want it any smaller. It's going to be just perfect for what I need. And I'll tell you what I really like about it. It's the added weight with this 1-inch piece of tubing. I'm not going to put any other like heavy coating on it or anything. It's probably just going to get a coat of epoxy paint. But the weight of it, the added rotating mass on a smaller steering wheel will certainly help inside the car. It may seem minuscule, but I assure you, it will make a big difference inside the car. So I had a plan of how I was going to do this, and I stopped at my buddy Denny's on the way home from Ethan's, and he and my buddy Andy were over there, and they had a couple suggestions, and they had some great suggestions. I'll show you what I was going to do and what I'm going to do instead. So originally, I was going to cut these spokes off where I needed them to be, drill 5 holes in 3 different areas around the ring, and then slide the spokes down into the tube. I was going to section the tube in 3 different spots and take the top piece of this tubing out so I could access it and weld up the back of each spoke in 3 different areas, then put the section back in the tube and clean that up. What a stupid idea that was. I stopped over at Denny's, and he and Andy were there. And they said, well, how are you going to finish it out? I said, well, I'm going to put a collar around the spokes once I get it all in there. So I could, when I paint it, it'll look a little more stock-like with the paint coming down, the color coming down onto the spokes. And he said, well, dummy, why don't you just put a collar around it now? Then you can cut it off and you can just weld the collar to the wheel. Of course, that's what I'm going to do. So to make those bands, I've got this 1/8-inch material here, and I'm just going to bring this out to about a 1/2 inch. We'll scribe a line along here. Doing this the long way, we're cutting this with a death wheel, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Don't need big fancy schmancy tools to build cool stuff. We're building a hot rod. Don't make me keep reminding you. We're building a hot rod. Radius the edge of this band. I want a nice smooth edge because it's going to wrap around the spokes. Of course, one side's going to be welded to the wheel, but one side's going to be hovering out here as a finished edge where we put our hands. And I don't want to mess up my pretty hands. I'm going to cut this down into 3 smaller sections for a more manageable size so we can get them wrapped around these spokes. So I've got these hoops lined up here. This sits nice and flush just inside the stock hoop. And I can get a good idea about where I need these bands to end up. So I know that it's somewhere in that area there. And that'll tell me where I need to fold these. So we've got to figure out how to fold these things around this. And we'll have a welded seam on the back side we can clean up. So that's easy enough. So get these bands marked where we need to break them. Hopefully we can get them wrapped around these spokes. We'll just bend them up here in the vise. Double check. We're still on it. See if we get enough room. That is really lining up where we need it to be, though. So we got to get that broken all the way around the edge. Sometimes you can get it with these dudes right here. Cornflies are back. Look at that. Look at my buddies. I think I'm gonna name this car Cornfly, right? I have to. Cornfly. Go. That's close. Look at that. That's looking good right there. We get them all shaped in like that. Be able to roll that back side right over and fit it. Stitch it up in the back. Yeah, I'm gonna like that. Okay, so we've got all these collars broken in the right distance. They're fitting around there very nicely. Now I've got to get them wrapped and cut to where they're even enough that we can just weld the seam on the back side of them here. So we've got these bands bent up as close as we can get them, keeping them tight to the spokes and trying to get them wrapped around. It's a little tricky, but it's working out pretty good. It's working out pretty good. And this one we'll be able to get bent over and see where we can trim it. Yeah, that's going to work out great. gonna work out great. You got a little adjustment in it and everything. We'll get them all on and then we'll trim each one of them. Yeah. We got a little play in these too because you know there's a little space in between the spokes. So once you get it on there, it can compress those spokes. The spacing's not even great from the factory. If you look at this, see the difference? You know, these spokes just go through this material and they're tacked on the ends. They just weld across these spokes as they come through those holes. But the spacing's not even great from the factory. So we'll probably end up with a better spaced spoke in ours. Fold this over. And that'll show us where we can trim it, tighten it down. We'll do the next one. Okay, so we've got all the bands around them. Now we can cut these where they'll lay down flush. We'll be able to put a weld on them. We got what we need. Now we can weld these up, clean them up, weld across the backs here a little bit, cut them off. We got to make sure we have these lined up right where they need to be to fit onto our new tube. And we've got a little play. We've made them where we can shrink them if we need to. Should work out pretty good. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna have to make sure that we get all these measured properly so they're all equal distance off of here, you know. Just sort of set this hoop up on there so I can eyeball it. We're gonna have plenty of room as long as these collars get somewhere in that general area where they're at right now. Get some of this rod off. And just gonna get these things. We'll start with this one and we'll make all the other ones match this one. I actually already measured these and this one is the longest one, so we'll be able to knock these out and line them up with this one. Put them where this one is. All right. I still have not made it to my buddy Brian's to get my helmet. So I'm using Grandpa's helmet again. It's okay. It's working all right. It's a little tricky for me. You know, if you use an auto darkening helmet, that's what you learned on. It's kind of hard to find your tungsten again. All right, Grandpa. Let's see what they got here. grandpa's helmet, still going strong. It's not my grandpa's helmet. It's my daughter's grandpa's helmet. It's my father-in-law's helmet. Yeah, okay. So now we know these things are on here. Let's get them all timed up right here. Make sure we got enough room to adjust. That one needs to come down. Okay. So what I'm going to do is come in here, just kind of weld across the back side of these spokes here. And that'll hold it in place. And I think I can do that. I'll do that from a small rod as well, actually. And all we're doing is weld it across the back edge of this to hold these spokes in place. Because then when we cut it off, it'll all be held there. So now we got this whole thing sectioned out. We got visitors. Hi guys, come here. Come here. Come here, say hi. Come here. Good kids. This is Yodel, and this is Maya. Hi. What are you guys doing? Mom let you out. Did Mom let you out? What are you doing? Get on out of here. You're not building anything. We gonna sand the ends of these down. I put a little more weld in the end of these. They're held in pretty good, better than what factory was. But we'll put a little more in it just to make sure they're nice and strong. So we got a really nice fit here, really nice. I think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and weld up, put a little more weld in the end of this, just to grab the spokes a little more with the collar. And then I'll sand them at an angle so it'll fit down in there really nice. This is gonna be great. I'm very excited about this. This is gonna work out just great. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld these ends up. There we go. Now we got some good penetration in these spokes to the collar. This is going to work out great. So, need to do a little sanding, little fitment here, and this thing ought to drop right down in there, just perfect. Perfect. That's exciting stuff right there. All right, I'm going to go sand this down and try to get this to fit in there. Try to get this kind of even. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Let's see. Let's go the other side. Oh, I love it. Love that. I'm ready to tack it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It ain't gonna get any better. That's perfect. I like the inset of the wheel as well. Gives it just a little more pizzazz maybe. I like that. You know, I could flex these in and put them right dead center, but I really think I like the resistance of it being kind of on the other side of that radius of the tubing. Yeah. Just tack it up. I'm really good with this. I do see one thing I want to do. It's just a weird. I want the keyway timed with the weld on the outside of the wheel. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'll find out later. There's some timing issue with that keyway, with that slot, and I'll say, why didn't I point that up at the weld? If there's any inconsistency there, you know, I don't know. It's a very weird OCD sort of thing, I guess. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm excited now. Feel these feel pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, let's get some weld on this thing. I apologize for mumbling there. I think I was just talking to myself. I get deep in this stuff, get excited about it, and I just sort of forget you're all here with me. But if you want to know what I'm like when I'm all alone, that's it right there. I just sit around and mumble to myself about how excited I am about stuff. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Yes. Happy and you know it, do a burnout. Look at that. Looking good, looking good. All right. All right, all right, all right. That is nice. I love the weight of this thing. Love the weight. That's going to be nice. Very happy with that. I'm going to call it quits for tonight. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? Look at that. Look at that. This might be one of the happiest moments I've had building this car. I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding. It's the little things, you know, like it wasn't a little thing. It's actually quite a chore to get this thing modified and back in here. It's not sitting exactly where it goes, but it's pretty close. I just got it kind of rigged up on this old 37 column. And we'll probably use part of that column with the F100 box. But it's, you know what? I did not move the stock column notch in the firewall. When I modified that, when I sectioned the firewall, I left the stock column notch exactly where it goes with the cut around the back of the engine. And it's sitting up in that notch pretty close right now. If anything, it goes over that way even more. And the wheel is sitting pretty square to the driver. So that's about, I mean, side to side, that's about where it goes. And I mean, you can see we got a couple inches here easily. I brought my door panel out. Don't know if it'll tell us much, but we'll look here. Oh yeah, I mean, we got probably 2 3/4 of an inch here. I'm so glad I did that. So glad I did that. I love the old big wheels on the open wheel roadsters for sure. But you know, we cut all this down, it's all streamlined, and I just love seeing that we've got this other small modified piece in here that's going to work very well, by the way. Again, may seem minuscule, but this added rotating mass on this wheel is going to help that little F100 box out a lot. It really will. I just love the way that it looks. I love that it's cut down. I love that the whole car is getting cut down. You know, these CORNFLYs, they're all over right now. You could probably see them here tonight. They're still out here tonight. But I mentioned something earlier, and I'll say it again if I edited it out and it didn't make it. But I've had these CORNFLYs all over me. And I think that is just the name of this car, the CORNFLY. I think that's what this car's name is. It's the CORNFLY. And, you know, I like it. It's just kind of a little thing, you know. It's like cut down version, you know, of a real 32 Ford. It's all cut down and more compact and streamlined. And that's what a CORNFLY is. I'm just going to call it the CORNFLY. I love that. So that's where we're at. I'm not going to finish this wheel out right now. I'll finish it out with some other parts. Or, better idea, I should talk to my friend John Hill, who is the steering wheel master, and see if maybe he'll finish this out for me. He is the steering wheel master. John is, you know, in all the group of guys, the hot rodders and stuff that kind of hang around, like, John is a super artistic, crafty guy. And on top of that, he's a super, like, cool guy. You ever think of the word cool? Like, when you say, oh, that guy's cool, or that's cool, or this is cool, like, that word really means something. And I'm telling you that John Hill is a cool guy. He showed me a picture a while back of him in some younger days, actually, and he's got his hot rod gear on, and it's the contact in my phone now for John Hill. But I'm gonna share it right here. This is a cool guy right here, John Hill. So anyway, I'm gonna talk to John. Hopefully, John will help me out with this steering wheel. He's a pretty nice guy. He probably will. But I'm stoked about this steering wheel. That's one of my favorite things on this whole car right now. That's one of my favorite things about this car is the steering wheel. Some people may not like it, you know, cut down that way, but it's a real wheel, you know? I mean, it needed to be saved. This wheel was thrashed, you know? It probably would have went back and hung on a wall of a barn or in somebody's garage or something, you know, because, you know, people aren't always all that ambitious about, you know, fixing up some of these old things, you know? But me and my buddies are, I can tell you that, so I'm pretty stoked about it. But, guys, I'm going to let you go. Something I didn't tell you this week is that this week, my buddy Denny, he was having some work done in his driveway, so he couldn't do hot rod night. So a bunch of the guys came out here to my place, and I was so stoked. It was so awesome to have all these guys here because to have them here in person and seeing my car in person, I got all kinds of great ideas. Everybody pitched in and kind of, you know, gave me some ideas, helped me out with, like, you know, things I've kind of been stuck on and what I might do or might not do. And it was great having those guys out here, and I made some spaghetti for the guys, and we had a really good time. I'll share it with you here in just a moment. But please continue to like and share and subscribe to my channel, and get your other buddies to subscribe to my channel. I love it, and I enjoy doing this. I enjoy this conversation about this car, and I enjoy the input. Like I said, when the guys were out here the other night, it was just so fun to have them here and have them saying what they liked or didn't like, or what they would change or maybe not change, or how to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. It was nice to have them here, and it's nice to have you here doing the same thing. So please give me some feedback, give me some comments. I appreciate the comments, but I'm gonna let y'all go for now, and hopefully before I let you go, tomorrow I'm heading down to Frog Follies down in Evansville, Indiana. It's like the 50th anniversary for the big car show and swap meet down there. Hopefully we'll find a few parts for the front end of this car, and we'll be back to work here this week. Can't wait to see you back here.